This is Lauren, my wife, and this is two of our daughters are here with us today. We've got Xanthi and Maisie, and we're coming to you from Muanina land in southern Tasmania. And first I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, past, present and emerging. Now today we're going to be going through some cool practical activities and making some household products without plastic. Before that, I want to say congratulations to everyone who's participated in Plastic Free July and made it through to this final day, or this last stretch. We want to encourage you to keep going if you can. We sort of took on a 2-week challenge about 5 years ago where we tried to live without making any waste. And at the end of that period, we had to sort of self-reflect and decide whether we wanted to continue to try and not make any waste or go back to our old ways. And it was pretty apparent that there weren't many good reasons to go back to the old ways, but there were lots of good reasons to try and live waste-free. So we've been doing that for nearly 5 years, and as a result, we've engaged with a really awesome community of people who are trying to reduce their waste, and we've written a book called A Family Guide to Waste-Free Living, and we write a lot about waste-free living and climate change solutions on our Instagram at Spiral Garden. But first, we would like to, so this is a family-friendly workshop. We encourage you to get your children involved. This video should be going up on YouTube later, so you can come back and watch it. All the recipes that we go through are also in our book. So if you miss anything, there's another place to go and get them. And for our first activity, we're going to be making apple cider vinegar. Why is making apple cider vinegar awesome?
I really like starting with apple cider vinegar, showing people how to make that because it's making use of a waste product. It's something that people often have in their homes. There's lots of apple scraps. We've got some here that we've made just this morning. We're making an apple crumble, so we've got some leftover apple to make use of. You can buy apple cider vinegar in bulk food shops on tap and in glass bottles, but it can be quite expensive. And so we really like making use of what we have, and we actually use it in lots of recipes that we're going to make today and lots of other recipes around the house too. So it's a really good practical basic recipe to learn. You can use any type of fruit really. Down here we have lots of apples in Tassie, but you might have access to lots of strawberries or pineapples or whatever you have in your kitchen. Have a go at using this basic recipe to make any different type of vinegar. We made a really great strawberry one last summer that was delicious. So let's get going. I'm going to enlist Xanthi's help. Would you like to take that jar? Thank you. And we're going to put some apple scraps on the bottom there. We want to fill it up about 3/4 of the way.
Yep, some people are asking to speak louder if
I'm
we can.
quiet. I'll try.
We'll try and speak up.
Yeah, so we're going to fill that about 3/4 of the way up the jar. That's good. Smush it all in there. Grab the other bits there. That's great. Now we like to make all of our recipes super easy because we've found that if they're really basic and simple, then we're more likely to do them more regularly. So we're going to take this, this is some cooled boiled water. Now we boil it because we've used tap water, and there are some things like chlorine and other chemicals in there that aren't so great for helping your things to ferment. So we're gonna, yep, you can actually, we might measure it. Zane, can you put in 3 cups of water in there, in that measuring cup? That's great. And then pour that in, and we want to just push it down a bit. We want to just cover the apple with the water. Okay, that's good. How much have we used? We used 2 cups. So we're going to add 1 tablespoon of sugar for each of those cups. And you can be really, you don't have to be too accurate with recipes like this. No, 2 tablespoons per cup. No, sorry, 1 tablespoon per cup.
Cool.
Yeah. That's great. And then we're going to put this jar in there, like that. We're going to use it as a weight. See how that's raised the level of the water there? So then if you want to pour some water in there so that it makes sure that it weighs it down. And that will just keep all of our apple below the level of the water. That's really good.
So what happens if it's out, like comes above the water?
So if you end up with some of the apple coming up the sides, it can go a bit mouldy, and you don't really want that in your apple cider vinegar. So then what we're going to do is put that somewhere out of sunlight, probably just on the kitchen bench, and we're going to watch it for a few days. Probably a couple of weeks. We're going to watch all of it. It's going to change. So this is where it gets a bit scientific and fun. We're going to watch all these little bubbles form, and it'll form a little fizzy foam around the top here. And then you'll see that fizzy foam start to slow down, and there'll be fewer and fewer bubbles. And you know that when that's happened, that we've almost started to make our vinegar. So then what you can do is pour it through a sieve into another jar, and that's what we have here.
Ours is nice and pink because we used apples that have a pink
They're
flesh.
Pink apples, yeah. So it's got a lovely pink colour to it, that batch. And so this one we're going to leave sit. That one we left to sit for another couple of weeks. Now this might take, it could take up to a month to go through that process. When it's been sitting for a couple of weeks, you want to give it a little taste and see if it tastes like the vinegar that you want it to taste like. And then you can use it for all of your different recipes. You may actually forget about your apple cider vinegar, which is what we did when it was at this stage. We forgot about it for a long time on the kitchen bench. We were busy. And so this has been sitting there for quite a while. And we're not even going to bother with the second fermenting process because that's nice and fermented. That's vinegar now. But it's formed this amazing layer on top called a SCOBY. Do you want to see if you can
My left hand
pick that out of there?
It's kind of like a chicken breast fillet.
Because it's pink. So a SCOBY is a symbiotic community of bacteria and yeast. And those microbes and bacteria and yeast, they're working together to help in the fermentation process. So if we can then take that out of there and put that into another batch of apple cider vinegar, we could have put it in here if we wanted to. And that can speed up the fermenting process a little bit, so you have it a little bit faster. So for us down in Tassie, it takes a little while for this to happen, but if you're somewhere warmer, the fermentation process might be a little faster. So that's making our apple cider vinegar. We want to pop those to the side.
Sure.
And then Maisie is going to show us something else we can do with it after that point. So once you've got your vinegar, you can water that down half and half with, so 50% vinegar, 50% water, and use that for a deodorant or a conditioner for your hair or a flea treatment for your pets. You can use it straight for a salad dressing or to clean your windows. You could, what are some other things you can do with apple cider vinegar? Oh, you can use it to clean the bathroom or the toilet. It's really great with some bicarb. You can make a fizzy volcano in the bottom of the toilet, which actually might get the kids to clean the toilet, do you think? No? No?
Just keep working on that.
Maybe. And what else do we use it for?
Someone said have to be, a plastic free July asked if we can use the apple cores.
Yes, so after you've tipped out the apple cores,
Like in the apple cider vinegar, there were apple cores in ours.
They were, yeah. So this one here, this is full of cores and peel, and then after we've finished with it, we can then give it to our chickens, and they love it. It's really good for their tummies.
Yeah.
Or we put it in the compost bin, and all of the bacteria are going to help to break down your compost and put it to work out there, which is really great. So there's zero waste in any of that process, and you've got a really useful product. So Maisie is going to show us how to make some multi-purpose spray for cleaning around the house. You like making this stuff, don't you? There you go. We'll give you a funnel, and we've got this squirty bottle here, which is a nice glass bottle. Do you want to pop the funnel inside the bottle there? And we're going to put in about a cup of vinegar. Maybe if you want to measure that out.
Do you want me to put a cup in here?
Full. Yeah, that's good.
Someone said some people drink apple cider vinegar for health.
Yes, it's really great for that. Yep, really good to drink in the morning, get your body going, your digestive system. Okay, now Maze, do you want to put in a dollop of dishwashing liquid? Now this is one that we got from our bulk food shop, just on tap. So we'll put that inside there. It's probably about a tablespoon worth, but this is a concentrated one, so
just a dollop.
Just squeeze it in. You can be very approximate with these recipes and alter them to suit your needs and what you like. A little bit more. That's great, Maze, thank you. And why don't we add some drops of oil? I think we'll put a rosemary one in this one. It'll make the house smell nice, and it's got some good antibacterial properties. So, yeah, pop that in.
How many drops?
Probably about 10 drops. It's going to last us for a while, this cleaning spray. That's great, thank you. And then we'll grab that jug of water there.
This one?
Yep, and we'll get our funnel back. I have a tremor in my hand, so you might notice some shake. Okay.
And is that
and
to fill it up?
We're going to fill that up almost to the top. So that's about half a bottle's worth of vinegar and half water. As I say though, you can make it more diluted if you prefer that. But we use this on all the surfaces in the kitchen and the bathroom. it's just a really handy recipe. And then do you want to put the spray squirter on there? Let's put use this bit here to tighten it. There we go, and give it a little shake.
So these are the recipes that we're showing you today. They're not things that we make every day.
You can go and clean the house.
Go and clean the house,
You
yeah.
don't have to.
Yeah, they're not things that we make every day. So some of these things we might only make every few months.
Yeah.
Which means that it might seem like it's all consuming at the moment because we're doing a lot of things at once, but really it's spaced out over like a year.
Yeah, so the kids usually make that one now. I don't make that very often. That's the benefit of doing these things together, is that we're all learning together and now they know how to do it.
So we have...
So that's made. Now what can we make? I think we'll make some sesamite.
Do you want to go and
Do you want to
Sam?
grab Sandy to help make sesamite?
Do you want to come?
So we have a couple of Vegemite eaters in our house.
Here, you can take this.
And what we don't like is buying the Vegemite with the yellow plastic lids, and that they're a single-use item. Even the glass jars are single-use. We can reuse them around the home, but eventually you get to a point where you have too many jars.
Yeah.
So we started making our own Vegemite type product, which we call sesamite because it uses black tahini, which is black sesame seeds. And you can often buy it from bulk food shops, or you can get your hands on some black sesame seeds and make your own black tahini. So, Sam, I'm going to get you to use this bowl here.
Sarah said we love sesamite, can't get enough of it.
It's so good because it's a little bit milder than Vegemite too.
Yeah, we've got quite a few people from the US watching who may not have tasted Vegemite or might have tasted it and been confronted by the
you don't
intense
have it
flavour.
like peanut butter. You have a small scraping, maybe with some butter.
I prefer the flavour of this, but
yeah, it's a little bit more mild,
Yeah.
and it's really nutritious too. All of these things that we're using are really good for you, packed with vitamins. There's nutritional yeast, which is really high in vitamin B, and there's tahini, black tahini, which I talked about before, and then tamari, which is like a soy sauce, but a little bit healthier. This is also gluten free. Okay, so
let's
Sam,
make sure the bowl's in there.
we need a measuring cup. This one might be a bit big to use for that. Maybe we'll use, can you grab, the nesting dolls?
Yeah.
I think those ones are good. We'll grab a spoon, Sam. This
Which
is
size do you want?
liquidy. We're going to use half a cup first. We need a half and a quarter.
Is it a half?
That's
one.
That's
That's three quarters. Oh my god. There we go. That bottom one.
Half a cup, and we need a quarter of a cup next. Okay, that's good.
That's your quarter.
So Zan, do you want to grab half a cup of black tahini? It's very liquid, this batch, isn't it? Maybe give it a little stir in there. Is there anything a bit thicker down the bottom? Yeah, that's good. Give it a stir. Okay, so we want half a cup of that. You could pour it or use the spoon.
Okay. I'm going to try with the spoon.
Just do it.
Yeah, I think maybe we'll just pour it in.
Can you pour it?
Yeah, you could put that spoon in here if you want, and we'll use it in a sec.
Half a cup. So all this.
Yeah, half a cup. That's good.
Is it?
No, it's a very tippy top.
Is it?
Yeah, all the way up. Great.
Do I pour that
And
in?
pour that into the bowl. Huz, do you want to get a quarter of a cup of this tamari? So that was our smaller cup that you had.
Quarter of a cup.
Yes, grab the spoon.
Pop it in.
Pour it in. Oh, it's really liquidy, this batch. Okay, and then we're going to use 2 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. You do that, Sam. We've got a lot of recipes to get through today, so we're... Yeah, you can smell it. 1 and 2. That's good. And then we need our apple cider vinegar back. See, I told you it was useful. And we're going to put in 1 tablespoon of that. Now you can tell I don't make these all the time because I'm still reading the recipe.
Yeah, we've probably made it. Well, we've made it lots of times.
This
but
lasts about 6 months.
Yeah.
Yes, 1 tablespoon. Not
But-
everyone in the family eats it though.
Yeah, some families would be churning through the Vegemite jars.
Yeah, so you might want to double or triple this recipe.
Yeah.
Okay, now smush it together. You can use a fork or a spoon, whichever works. It's very liquid, this batch.
So-
hopefully it will thicken up as we go.
Is it-
And then we'll put it in the fridge afterwards and it will...
So it's winter here where we are, and I would have thought that the tahini would get
I
thicker.
haven't had it kept in the fridge though, so
Right.
sometimes I put it in the fridge first, but you can see it thickening there.
Yeah.
It's getting much thicker. And you can go a little bit too far with mixing it up and it can get quite firm. So
So this is
once
probably good.
this is a good thing to start
And
with.
we've
a
got
bit
an
more
empty
liquid.
jar,
I have
haven't
a
we?
jar here.
Yeah.
And we'll just transfer it to that when we're done.
So we haven't really bought many new jars. Speaking of jars, you did mention that you can hit saturation point, but there are certain jar sizes that suit certain things. So like a tall one for olive oil, or yogurt and jam jars can be good for liquids, and
That's looking good,
jams
Sam,
and
yeah.
spreads in smaller jars. We kind of keep a range of
Give it a little bit,
sizes.
a little bit.
Some of our jars
So
have been around for decades. And
we have some that we left home with that our mothers used for
Yeah.
years.
So glass is
They're beautiful.
amazing like that. If you look after it, it can last such a long time.
That's great. So we'll pop that in the jar. And that is our sesamite. Next up, I thought we could have some fun with seeds. Sprouting seeds. I might get you to look at that.
This one?
This one. Sprouting seeds is a terrific way to grow your own food without having a garden. You don't have to have a garden to be able to grow your own food, is what I'm getting at. So we found these seeds at our bulk food shop, but some health food shops stock them. You could get them through a seed supplier, a nursery, or you want to make sure they're organic though. You don't want to have pre-treated seeds if you're going to be eating them. Or you could grow your own. So these ones we got from our bulk food shop. We've got some lentils and some mung beans and a couple of other little seeds in there. And we have a glass jar. This one has a lid. This is like a mason jar lid. And we just cut out some mesh from a craft project we had. Or you could use a bit of stocking with a rubber band or some cheesecloth. They work too. So Sam, do you want to put some of these seeds in the jar? Yeah, that's good. Okay. And now we need some water. We need a refill on our water. That'd be great.
How
if
much
you
do
could
you
fill
need?
that up. That'd be awesome. We're going to use a bit of water today. Yeah, so we're just going to the first thing that we're going to do is rinse the seeds. So we'll fill that up with water to the top, and we're going to wash that out. Do you want to fill that up
Me?
with water? Yeah, you.
Say when?
When? Okay, Zan, do you want to put the lid on that? So we want to give them a good rinse because we don't know what kind of journey they've had to get to us. So we want to make sure they're nice and clean. That's good, and then we can tip that into our bowl. Tip it all out. That's great. Oh, our holes were a bit big and we lost some of the teeny ones, but that's all right.
So yeah, make sure that the holes are small enough that the smallest seeds don't go through the holes.
Yeah.
But it's only a few.
Plenty. All right, then we're going to add, probably fill it up about halfway. Do you want to take that? Halfway with water. Just give it a tap. You can pour it over the mesh, that's fine. Just do it carefully. That's great. No, keep going. A little bit more.
So you're just trying to cover them?
Yeah, so we're going to halfway, that's terrific, and then we'll swoosh. There we go, we've got most of them in there. So that's going to sit overnight like that, and the seeds will soften. And then the next day we're going to tip it out, and we're going to leave the jar on its side on the kitchen bench, out of sunlight, maybe on the side of the sink because we don't want them to cook. And we're going to allow it to drain out, and we'll refill it with water 2 times a day and rinse that out 2 times a day with just the seeds sitting in the jar on their own, and they'll start to sprout. So this is where we do a little bit of a science experiment again. And we're going to watch them for changes, and when they look like sprouts that we want to eat, then we're going to give them a little munch and see how they taste. And we'll put them in our salads and our sandwiches and our lunches, and they're really packed with good nutrition. And we have our little indoor garden.
So you don't even need to have a yard.
No.
And you can grow salad ingredients.
Yeah. It's terrific. And we have as much as we want. And we don't have to buy our sprouts in those plastic clamshell containers, that the single-use ones from the supermarket. So we're avoiding all that single-use plastic, which is great. All right, so we need Maisie for this one.
Maze, do you want to come and make the next one? The next one, we're making play-doh. So this is a great one to get the kids involved with.
A classic old family favourite.
Or it's a great one to make as a gift to another kid, or at children's parties if you get giving away.
Remember those?
Remember parties where like people would go to each other's houses, where you can put it in the little party bag to give away to the kids at the end. And
I remember when we first went waste free. One of the birthday gifts for Maisie was a few jars of play-doh, and it was a really lovely, thoughtful, waste-free gift. So, let's make it. We need that big bowl there. Now, we need our 2 cups of flour, which I've already prepared for you to make it.
2 cups of plain flour?
Plain flour, that's right.
Do you need this?
Yes, we'll use that too.
That's salt?
That's salt. So, Maisie, do you want to pour the flour into the bowl? All of it.
So how much would you say this makes? How much Play-Doh does this make? Like, is it like a nice?
It's going to be a decent size for us to play with, and we're
Yeah.
going to make 2 colours from this one.
Okay.
We might, you might get a chance to play with some too.
Oh, cool.
So then we're going to put in half a cup of salt. Yeah, it's nice, satisfying, isn't it? Yes, all of that. Now we need our olive oil, and we're going to put in 3 tablespoons of olive oil.
Do you want me to pour it onto the spoon and then you can blob it in? One,
There's 1.
2, 3.
Okay, and now we need a cup of boiling water.
Okay,
I'm going to give you this to help measure it out.
so here's some boiling water we've prepared earlier. We've kept it warm in the thermos.
And that's a hot tip if you want to avoid turning your stove on or your kettle on all through the day. Boil it once and then put it in the thermos
Did
so
you
you
say-
can use it.
Did you say 1 cup?
Yeah, 1 cup.
That's a cup.
That's a cup. And pour that in. Awesome. And now we're going to give it a stir. You'll need some mussels for this, Maze.
Do you have mussels?
Go on, quick, while it's still hot.
Okay, I don't have muscles.
We might have to.
Didn't do it?
That was
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you're totally
Can work
strong.
on these.
So it's we're trying to be quick while the water's still
Yeah, well,
warm
that's
because
still warm.
it
You
will
don't
cool
have
down.
to be too.
Yeah, kind of like with bread.
Yeah, like with bread.
I use warm water. So, can you use hands? We could use hands.
You can use hands.
I feel
think
like
at
this is a
point,
hands situation.
Let's get our hands involved because it will have cooled down quite a
Yeah.
bit now.
feels like play-doh. Should I?
Yes. How's that feeling, Maze?
Warm and play-doh. Right.
Yeah. Well,
Just flung out.
that's good. Get it nice and smooshy. You want to have a go, Huz? You're
Oh yeah.
a dough expert.
Yep.
Can I wash my hands?
Yeah, go.
Yes,
Go and wash your hands.
absolutely.
They're really cold.
So it's just looking like this at the moment, kind of like a wet but firm dough.
Now, is it too wet? Do you think it needs more dry in there?
No, well,
More flour? You can adjust it as you go.
when do we add the colouring?
We're going to do that next.
Okay.
So maybe that will help because it's a powder.
Yeah, I think this is perfect.
Good,
Yeah.
okay, well let's get it out on the table. We'll put our bowl aside and we'll break it up into 2. Now Maze, do you want to make yellow or green?
Can I make both?
Just one.
Just choose one.
We've got 2 natural colourings here. We've got matcha powder, which will do the green, and turmeric, which will do like a yellowy orange colour.
You can play with those though. You can use beetroot powder, is really great. It makes a beautiful pink one.
But these were the things that we
These
could
were
get
what we
easily at our bulk food store.
So just put it in by the teaspoon until you get it to be the colour that you want. Yeah, just use the smaller. Yeah, that's good. So just add 1 teaspoon to that and we'll see what happens. That one there.
That good?
Yes, that's very good. Now do you want to add some scent to this one as well?
Yeah.
I thought peppermint would go really well with the green one.
Yes.
Here's some.
There we go.
So it's like
How many?
mint.
Maybe
Minty
about
smell.
3 drops. So this is a really nice sensory play experience and the kids can have fun with mixing in
Awesome.
some of the colours. You might need to be careful with little ones with peppermint oil though.
Yeah, pretty
Pretty
potent.
Maisie's a bit older, she's 9, so yes, so now we're going to bring the side in here.
Sort of folding it in
And
over
folding
itself.
it in over itself until the powder is mixed in. Do you want to have a go at doing the
Yes, please.
turmeric?
Can you slide your little dough ball that way a bit?
Let's swap.
So, sorry, how much turmeric?
Oh, we did a teaspoon, but turmeric is very potent, so that's good, Maize. And now you can probably give it a really good squeeze. Oh, is it popping now?
Yeah, you want it to be,
Keep it down here.
and then just like fold it in over itself.
Yeah, fold it in over itself. Pop, pop, pop. Is it popping out? That's okay. Yeah.
And then what do I do then? Start sort of kneading
Yeah.
it.
Did you want to add some fragrance to yours? There's some lime
Sure.
oil there.
Peppermint and lime.
It's starting to stick to the table.
That's okay. We can get some more flour.
Looks a bit like cauliflower.
Oh, it's popped out a bit.
Sam, do you want to get some extra flour just in case we need it?
This is
Maybe a cloth. We're having a bit of fun. Just a cup. Yeah. Not a measuring cup, just a cup.
so. What's the objective here? Am I just trying to get it to kind of mix
We're
through
gonna
without
mix
making
it
a big
through.
mess?
Yeah. It might make a big mess, but
It might
that's
make
okay.
a
We
big. I think
embrace
I'm. I think I'm blending a bit of the matcha that's spilled out.
Oh,
into it.
yeah.
Oh, it's actually kind of going lime. Is that?
Yeah, that's because you've got some green powder
Yeah.
in yours too. So if you want to, you can burst open that yellow bit there and
Yeah.
really knead it through. That's good. And you too, Maize. Oh, yours is going nice and green. Let's get some tearing and smooshing.
I could probably add a bit
Yeah,
more
yeah.
turmeric.
Okay.
I reckon.
Looks like it's got herbs through it, doesn't it? Is it good? Yeah. Yeah, and the warmth is really lovely too as
These
you're
are
working it in.
actually the exact same colours as the play-doh that I got for my birthday.
They are, yeah.
So I had to ship them.
Great ideas for colouring. I've been wondering about that. Does the turmeric Play-Doh stain though?
Maybe if you make it really, really strong. We haven't found that it's stained anything. It's been fine.
But I mean, when you're, it's
If
not.
you're making it like really, really vibrant, then maybe you
Yeah.
might have a problem with that. But
Think about.
we get a good rich colour from it though, and it doesn't seem to affect.
It smells really nice.
It smells great, doesn't it? Well, so you've got a really nice gentle green there, Maize.
Yeah, and I've got like a yellow.
Yeah. So you can keep adding colour to that to make it more and more vibrant if you want.
Yeah.
A bit more
Or we might just keep them a little bit soft today. Well, maybe next time when we do it.
We'll just go with the pale green.
Yeah, we're going to go with the pale green today just to save some time.
Yeah.
But we
Well-
can keep working that in and you can make it
Do you want to
darker
make it into a
next
smooth
time.
ball?
And so after you've done that,
Feels beautiful.
do you want to grab that big coconut oil jar there, Hutz?
Yeah.
And we'll just pop them in there. So you're going to fit, smoosh. That's my favourite word today. And then Maize, you can pop yours in. They could do with a little bit more working in, couldn't they? Bloop.
So much.
And we're going to store that in this jar in the fridge when we're not using it, and that will be ready for play whenever we need it.
I don't actually need to wash my hands.
It's just rubbing off,
It's
isn't
so
it?
smooth.
Yeah. Have you got turmeric on your hands?
I might
Everyone?
just give them a little rinse.
Okay.
No, it's not much.
Well, it's good to have some messy fun. That's why we save the messy stuff for the end. All right, and we didn't even need that extra flour, Zampi, but thank you for getting that.
All right.
Okay. Do we need to have a little clean up in between?
Yeah. Take.
Okay.
Oh, that just goes with that.
Yes, we'll do those next.
All right. Get straight into it. So that was Play-Doh. This next exercise activity thing that we're making is seed bombs.
which is also a really great little, it could be a gift or it could be something to do with guests at a party if we end up having parties again. Or just to do, here in Tassie we're heading into spring, and we're starting to notice buds emerging, and we're thinking about seeds and planning where we're going to plant things in our gardens, and we're thinking about flowers and planting things for bees and other pollinators. So we are going to make some seed bombs. Hus, would you like to grab that container there?
Yes.
Yeah. So what I did yesterday is I took some strips of newspaper, I just tore them, and I popped them in this container and I covered it with water and I let it sit overnight. And then this morning I popped that, I strained that and then popped the newspaper strips, the wet newspaper strips into the food processor and whizzed it for about 10 seconds and it made this lovely, do you want to show the camera up close, Hus, maybe in your hand? That's good. Just wet newspaper pulp. It's kind of a bit lumpy, it's still quite moist. And then, so what we're going to do is, Anne, do you want to get a handful of that? And I've got some seeds here. We've got some nasturtium and cosmos and calendula seeds because we want to grow flowers in our garden. But you could plant herbs, maybe some parsley or coriander or something like that.
One thing that's really important if you are making seed bombs and you're using seeds, obviously you're using seeds in seed bombs, but not to use any seeds of weeds, something that's going to be an environmental weed or a problematic species where it gets planted, because that would just be causing harm to the local environment.
So you might want to check with your local nurseries or your
council's website,
see if there's what their list of noxious weeds are, and yeah, make sure that you're not creating a problem. So you've got a nice little ball of paper pulp there. Then we're going to grab some seeds and sprinkle them on top.
Is your hand big enough? I'm going to hold my hands under your hands.
That's good. Yeah, that's great. You could put a couple more in there. And then we're going to squash that down and smush it all together. I'm going to hold this under you because as you squish it, some of the water, moisture from the paper might come out. Okay. Squeeze it really hard. Yeah, there you go. And then as you go, try and make a nice ball shape. Okay. How's that going? Do you need some more paper pulp on top?
Yeah.
That might be good. Here you go. Now use your other hand to squash it.
So this could be an activity that the kids could do at a party.
Yeah, it's great for that sort of thing. And then you can get an egg carton.
Is it not really balling up?
Is it not balling? Oh, there we go. Some of the seeds are quite chunky, aren't they?
Yeah. Are they the nasturtiums or something? No? Is there nasturtiums in there?
Yeah, there's some nasturtium seeds. That's the way. You can add some more paper pulp if you like. Yeah, just really squish it. You don't have to squeeze too much of the water out.
That's cool.
Just make a nice round shape.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. You got it?
Yeah, there's seeds
Yeah,
in there. You might not have
terrific.
every seed in
So
there.
it's alright if they're poking out. So
Yeah.
then we're going to leave that to dry. It'll probably take a few days.
Put it in here.
Just pop them gently into the egg cup and they'll dry, take a few days to dry. And then when it's planting time, so as we're going to wait until the first frost, the last frosts have happened, and then you can dig a little hole in the garden and put them in the ground where you want flowers to grow or herbs to grow, whatever you're planting. Or if you're into the idea of guerrilla gardening, see if there's a particularly dull,
barren
spot in your
sad-looking
local
bit of land.
neighbourhood and find a little spot to dig a hole and grow some flowers. 'Cause,
Yeah.
yeah, they're a lovely thing to have all over the neighbourhood, and to create some places for insects to go and increase biodiversity in your local area.
All right.
And then our very last thing we're going to do, we're going to make some little teacup plants. We're going to upcycle some teacups. So this is a little teacup we've had for a while that we got from our local tip shop. Do you want to explain what a tip shop
So
is?
in Tasmania and in other parts of Australia where you have the rubbish dump, which Australians call the tip, we have like a shop that's on site that will sell stuff that people have donated. It's kind of like a second-hand store or like a last step before something goes to the dump or to the tip. So you can pick up jars and clothes and books and crockery and all sorts of things, usually really cheap, and it's one of our favourite places
We love it.
to get stuff because it's already been considered at the end of its life to someone, and we're giving things that second life or third life or whatever.
Yeah,
it is.
it's valuing them. So we found this cup had already had a hole drilled in it, which is perfect. If you want to put a hole in the bottom of your cup to grow a plant in it, you just need a masonry drill to do that. Or if you don't have a drill to do that, you could get your teacup and put some gravel in the bottom, just small gravel. It's not particularly big, little pieces. And that creates good drainage. You can use any sort of lots of things from the kitchen are really good. We found this old colander at the tip shop. It's got quite large holes, so I thought we could use this old potato sack. We're going to cut a piece of hessian from that just to line it in there, and then fill it up with soil and plant some herbs. That'll make a really beautiful herb garden, and then we can carry it around, put it on the table and add our herbs from there.
Awesome.
But I won't do that now. We're just going to make a couple of little
The
planters
teacup
here.
variety.
Teacup
And
variety.
you've got
These are some aloe vera, little tiny aloe vera plants. I have a plant that's been very happy and it's had lots of babies growing. So we've just taken a few of those off. We've chosen a succulent because they grow really easily and they don't mind a small space like this.
and this is a useful plant.
It's a useful plant, yeah, so you can use aloe vera for cuts and burns and pimples, and you can make moisturiser and hair products from it, and it's amazing. So many things you can make with aloe vera. So Zan, would you like to put a little soil in the bottom of your pot? You could use a spoon if you want to, in place of a shovel. Or hands is good, I'm all for hands. That's great, and then we're going to make a little hole for our aloe vera plant.
Okay.
We'll call her Vera. There we go. Make a little hole for her and in she goes. That's great. So the layer of gravel in the bottom there will create a good amount of drainage. You could put a little more soil in there. Do you want to do one too, Bob?
Oh yes, please. Do you think I'll need anything at the bottom, or is it just the
I
holes?
think that should be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit might fall out, but it'll find its place.
Yeah. Let's get our sesamite out of the way and our play-doh.
It's good. Do we have any water left?
I don't know.
We used it all.
Again.
Okay. So there's use my pinky. Put him in. Oh, he's got a pretty long taproot.
Yeah. you can just kind of wind that around. Succulents are pretty
Forgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they make a really nice that makes a lovely gift for someone, doesn't it? For a birthday or Mother's Day. Just saying.
Just saying. No hints. So then you give it a water anyway.
Yeah, we've run out of water, but we'll give it a water in a minute and then just pop that somewhere, maybe on the windowsill in the kitchen, and it will grow beautifully.
We have a whole cemetery of old crockery with succulents and stuff.
Yeah, that's right. So if they get little chips in them, or if they're just a cup that you don't need anymore, this is a really good way to make use of them.
It's harder to make use of broken glasses, drinking glasses. We've tended to transition out of having drinking glasses into ceramic cups and stainless steel. These stainless steel cups that will last forever.
I break a lot of glasses with my tremor, so
yeah,
it's probably me more than the kids.
So we don't have many glasses left in the house.
Yeah, and if they break totally beyond use, beyond upcycling, we'll use them in the bottom of pot plants to create more drainage.
If cups break?
Yeah, cups or plates or... Yeah.
Awesome. So just to highlight what we made, we made apple cider vinegar.
Where is that gone? Over there. Scrappy apple vinegar.
Just to summarise, we made the scrappy apple vinegar, and then we made the multi-purpose spray that used the scrappy apple vinegar. We made the sesamite that also used the scrappy apple vinegar. We made some play-doh.
Oh, and don't forget about our sprouts.
We sprouted some seeds, so we've got some food and some medicinal plants and upcycling happening with the plants. So there's just a few things that you can make with relatively little expense and just using what you have for the most part.
And it didn't take too much time.
No.
And we had a good time.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
And now we have a whole bunch of stuff. So we hope that you enjoyed it. If anyone has a burning question, perhaps leave it as a comment on this video, whether it's here or when it's put on YouTube, and one of us will try to get back to you.
Do we have time for a question or two now?
Yeah, if you have any questions now, feel free to throw them at us. And just a reminder that all of these recipes are in our book, which is a family guide to waste-free living, and
published by Plum.
By Plum Books. And you can also find us on Instagram at Spiral Garden.
And Facebook.
And we're on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
So come and say hi, and we'd love to know how you're going. Remember that Plastic Free July is kind of like the start. If this is your first Plastic Free July, you can continue on and create a new normal for yourself, and celebrate how awesome it is that you've managed to reduce your plastic consumption this month and hopefully going forward. We'd also like to thank Plastic Free July for inviting us to talk to you today. We hope you, wherever you are in the world, that you have a good rest of your day.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Is there any questions? No, there's just people being really nice.
Aww,
thank you. See ya.
Bye.